And there was a name that he can't shake out of his head, and that name is Girithkar. The name Girithkar doesn't really mean anything to you guys. So yeah, you say Girithkar, and there's like a shock runs through you. That hunger that you guys experience every time that you're sort of like overpowered by Ichabod, that hunger like returns to everybody. There's literally like a 2-minute span where everyone is just like uncontrollably shoving their faces with food. It says the dust embodied. The dust, embodied. The name Girithkar being there in the same place where this phrase, the dust embodied, is not an accident. You're talking about the lines here that says the dust embodied? Girithkar, he's one of the 3 elders, one of the 3 great old ones.
Do you know if Girithkar was shattered or just blown into oblivion?
Well, once again, I mean, theories differ here. Nobody can quite agree. Girithkar is no longer whole. Girithkar was obliterated, and as you were told, turned into dust. Finding myself again in the presence of my brothers, my project had not yet commanded me to take what they had. So it was to my great disappointment that I witnessed my youngest brother kill our sibling. It was such a casual thing. He reached out and crushed him into dust. In his defiance, he cast the dust of our brother to their project. One of the theories that if the old shards of the old gods could be found and reunited, that it could possibly bring back the old divinity, as it were. Previously, with the Liberators.
Your thoughts turn to, how long has it been since you left home? And as this thought makes its bitter trail across your mind, a new thought enters. Now that you've been through the astral plane, will you be able to return home?
I'm at a loss for words on how to compare what I'm feeling now to what I'm feeling when I think of River Shroud. My home River Shroud is a place where I wanted to get back to. I'm wondering if I can even go back home. If I'm to be honest with you guys, is that I've spent most of my exile trying to find out ways to get back home. I feel like the only reason I would want to go back home will be to free them from certain people that are oppressing my family.
And this one says, men hold sway over each other, always taking from their brother. You must tell this work so long and give up something that makes you strong.
I give up trying to get around my exile.
Rorin, you are faced with this decision to give up something that makes you strong, and the thing that you can think of is home. And you have a burning passion to get home. When you think about giving this up, the light behind your eyes kind of dulls a little bit.
The curse of men of which I speak was broken when your soul passed between the planes. Your danger has passed. Remember your oath and be absolved.
A fire rises in your chest, burning through the apathy that had replaced your desire to return home. Your sacrifice in the realm of song is still remembered, and you hear the song swell above the screaming of the winds around you. You need to go home. So here you guys are in the middle of this forest, a bunch of dead Shrike cultists around you. What do you guys want to do?
I want to loot that pancake guy.
The pancake guy?
Yeah, I guess I should say I don't think Korak would be interested in the armor because it's probably a little too heavy for his taste.
Can I investigate the other cultists if there's any non-pancaked bodies around?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stabby bodies. So with a 20 investigation, Medusa, I think you definitely turn up like, it's very easy to find like their Shrike cult symbols and pins, and they have some like literature that they carry around. It's basically just some garbage talking about entering the ultimate conflict.
Who wants some cult shit?
There's an interesting note. You see a note about the Jinn in one of these pieces of literature, which is new.
Do I need to roll like Arcana or religion for this?
Actually, religion would be a good one. Yeah, with the 21 religion, looking at this note about the Jinn, which isn't really a whole lot more than like it's like stuck in this line of like pushing for the ultimate conflict. Some say that the legend of the Jinn has some kind of a root in the ultimate conflict. It's not really clear on what that means, but while you're looking at this, I think that with your religion check, your interest is piqued back to books that Gob had found and brought to you in the Underdark. Does anybody remember the name of the god from those books?
Hey, Gob, check out these papers. It looks like some nerdy wizard shit.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that Medusa's like this weird jock, but also like a cult leader.
This is how fraternities started.
So, yeah, Gob takes them and takes a look. Do I see anything? I don't know. Do I recognize them?
Your attention is drawn to this line about the djinn, and this is the first time that you are directly seeing a link between something with Korg and talking about the djinn. And when Medusa hands it to you, you are also reminded of the fact that these are like, you know, it's talking about the djinn may have something to do, some deep roots within this ultimate conflict. Your mind also travels to ancient gods, and the most recent place that you can remember reading about an ancient god was the Underdark. So the name, honestly, your characters would know this, so I don't feel bad telling this. This is me trying to. Do you guys remember my lore?
Remember the past.
Remember the past. The name of that god is Girithkar, and Girithkar, the name Girithkar, was equated with this phrase that you had seen in those books in the Underdark, and that phrase was the dust embodied. Galley flies overhead, and he's like, "Hey, bros! Do you guys want to get out of here or what? You just killed a bunch of dudes. Do you want me to, like, eat them or something? I can do that."
Please eat them.
Oh god, wait.
Ignore him. Eat the bodies.
Wait, did I miss... How's Jeff doing?
He popped up in the middle of the fight, fully awake. He was struck by a bolt of gold lightning, I think it was.
Should we chat with him? Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing alright. Pretty much almost died just now, but good under the circumstances. You look alright yourself.
Oh, yeah, man. Didn't get scratched on me. Also didn't have an anvil almost dropped on my head, so we're doing pretty good over here.
Is there any other, like, things to loot from the bodies?
The paladin, what's left of the paladin anyway. Well, specifically, I guess Rorin, looking at Arden, he's got a money bag on him. He does have 600 gold coins in there.
I snag it.
Hey, Mr. Airship, want to eat this pancake, man?
These little proboscises like shoot down from Galley and like stick into them, and they shrivel up like Cell from DBZ when he's sucking people up.
Jeffrey, were you headed somewhere, or were you like on a mission you were on or something, or what happened here? You're free, you're liberated, but now what?
Yeah, I was sent on a mission to the Shrike's Temple to follow the Quellis and kind of check in on what they were doing and gather as much information as I could within the Shrike's Temple, and shit kind of got haywire. Got knocked out after I was put into a cell, and the adventure capitalists, as I heard they were called, got out of there, and I don't really remember anything because I was knocked out. I'm assuming they just kind of left me here in the middle of the forest.
Gob, are you still looking through your third eye? Or your displacer beast eye?
I am now.
Roll investigation for me with that. And Arcana as well. I think you definitely see like that shadow image of the horse carrying a few people like trotting by, right? It's a horse that's built like if Ignis was a horse. So it's got like 4 different shapes on it, and there's a motion that happens on the horse, and then one of the shapes on the horse falls off and into the grass where you guys had seen Jeff laying unconscious when you walked up, and the horse keeps moving. And it's unclear whether he was shoved off the horse or if he just fell off and nobody was able to catch him, because the last that you had seen of them, they were all in pretty bad shape, everybody on the horse.
So it appears you might have fallen off the horse. Were you guys heading towards the Shrike Temple or heading away from it, if you remember?
I'm assuming away from it, since we already been in the Shrike's Temple when we got in the fight.
I see. Did you learn anything while you were in there about the Quellist or the Adventure Capitalist and about the Shrike army themselves, or?
No, I was captured pretty early on once I had been in the temple, and the last thing I remember is the Adventure Capitalist finding me locked up in the cell and them getting into a fight, and I got knocked unconscious.
Oh, I see. Well, I know you're a friend of the Primarch, so if you want to ride with us for a while, you're welcome to. We have room in our airship if you want to ride with us.
Hell yeah, bro. We got lots of room.
Excellent, man. Sounds good to me.
Any skills, abilities you might be able to bring to the table that we should know about ahead of time? Or are you good with magic? Are you good with an axe? Are you good with a sword?
Well, I think you saw my handiwork with fireballs, so yeah, I'm pretty good with a spell here or there.
Then you're alright by me, then. Gob kind of turns to the rest of the group. Where are we headed next? Was there a reward for Jeffrey here that we should collect on, or...?
Yeah, was this the only man we were tasked with finding, or...?
Yeah, the Primarch's people had asked you to look into the disappearance of their... Or rather, what his whereabouts were.
Well, then I say we head back down to find the Primarch.
Hey, where'd you get that sword from, healer man?
Oh, this sword I just happened to find right on the ground here. And I remember not rolling a great perception check on it, so it's a cool sword.
It is a cool sword.
Arcana check on the sword.
Oh, man.
Anything about it?
Wow. Medusa, Rorin, and Jeff. Jeff, you recognize this for certain reasons. Rorin, you recognize the magic held within it, and Medusa, you recognize the object itself. So I'll kind of do these in order. Jeff, you recognize this as well. First of all, you definitely remember seeing the adventure capitalist with it. The tiefling man named Bazakar Latesh was holding on to it, and he had mentioned that it was a man had come with them before when they were brought into the temple, who was then dragged away, and the sword was handed to Latesh as like a type of reward, and then he still had that on his person when you all had your fight with the Inquisitors inside of the temple. Also, you recognize the magic for the same reason that Rorin recognizes the magic, which is that you've run into a couple of these objects in your time around. Specifically, this object feels like it feels divine. Most recently, you recognize this power to be the same as the crystal that Korak and Gob had presented to you guys earlier. Medusa, you recognize this immediately as being the avatar of the god Agrashad. It's the deity of justice. Oh yeah, what do you guys want to do? Are you heading back? Gally, he opens his mouth and he's like, and his tongue like lolls out and then it turns into a ladder.
That's so gross.
Is he like the whole ship?
Yeah, he's a mimic.
Okay, it all makes sense now. I didn't know if this was like a regular guy just like being weird.
Alright, I guess I climb the tongue ladder.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like run up as fast as I can, not looking down, going nope.
Before Rorin gets on Galley, he like turns to the pancake cultist and gives him a good kick, and then heads onto the boat.
You guys get on Galley, you get up to find Guster, obviously is still there, and then Raxus is also like kind of looking at you with an eyebrow raised, like, are you guys good? And he starts handing out potions. And Galley's like,
yeah, I think it'll probably be by the end of the day, like late evening, we'll be getting in, bros. Is that good with you?
Really, that long?
Yeah, it's pretty late right now already.
Gob wants to go back to those books in his room and look up Gareth Carr and see if he has anything about him or about the dust embodied. Would that be a history or a religion?
Do both for me.
Ooh, spooky.
It's Galley's mixed track.
This is Galley's his theme.
He's just humming in his head and we have to stand there for all night.
It's like, yeah, you're hearing a hum, like you're close to somebody's throat and they're humming. Just...
Totally canon.
This brings a whole different perspective to the scene now.
The walls are just slightly shaking.
I don't know if I like this or not, but it's amazing.
So we can pretty much never fly like stealthy.
Yeah, like just humming Jaws as he's trying to sneak up on someone.
I caught an eerie feeling. Something's following us.
All right, Gob. As you're looking all these things up, you start with history. So you're kind of like looking into Gareth Carr, and you're seeing how that correlates with the Jinn, you're not finding a ton. But then well, I'm sorry, I guess with history, you're probably looking to the Jinn first. And then with the religion check, you start looking a little bit further into Girithkar, and specifically the phrase, the dust embodied. And you come across something really interesting, and something that involves the Skald's Forest. According to legend, there used to be a great city there, and it was supposedly the capital of the Jinn before they disappeared, as myths go. And you know that the city was called Dustfall.
Can we say Rorin is helping out here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess this Rorin, like, Gob, do you bring this to Rorin at all?
Yeah, I would trust Rorin enough to bring him in on this stuff.
Okay, so Rorin brings up from his chaotic journal, there was some information that the guy from the Underdark told us from the book. There was like some sort of prophecy on, though death follows him, when the harpy returns home, all will be made right once again. And below it was, in the 12th and final age, the lands will change and consume, music will stop, families will be broken, Girithkar shall bring forth his champions, and they shall purge magic from the world. I don't see anything about Skald's Forest. There was stuff about Dustfall that I remember, but I can't find it in my archives.
Can we say Korak just like creepily comes through the door at this point?
Korak, come in here.
Oh hey, I wasn't listening outside the door or anything. It says magic would be erased from the world?
Yeah, they shall purge magic from the world. Girithkar's champions.
Well, from what we understand, the Jinn were the embodiment of magic. I don't know if we should literally refer to them as magic or not, but I thought the Jinn were the way of the gods bestowing magic in Elsira.
So you're saying this is more of a story of the past, when the Jinn were removed? They were removed by Girithkar's champions? Or is this a prophecy still yet to come true in the future?
Well, you two are well-educated gentlemen like myself. You know history can repeat itself.
Now, it said something about when Harpy returns home. Was that referring to you, Korak, or Harpy
I believe
Herald?
Our Harpy Herald is referring to our friend here.
Yeah, they called me Harpy Herald, not Harpy itself, but let's assume Harpy is referring to me, a piece of the past. Also, Ace, I guess, sidebar, with my memories back, would I know a little bit more about Dustfall and what happened there without being totally meta right now?
Yes, you would absolutely. You have tons of memories with the Jinn. Not all of them pleasant, but yes, Dustfall is a city that you absolutely remember in great detail.
I do remember the city of Dustfall when the shattering happened, when my father cast down the other deities. Dustfall, from what I remember, was destroyed in the process. And on that day, I think people in Dustfall knew that there was a growing part of the population that wanted to see the Jinn gone. Some people were beginning to persecute them who thought they were a source of problems in the world.
Oh, come on in, Jeffrey. Come on.
Thanks, guys.
Everyone else, you're welcome to come in, or we'll just take this out to the common area.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you just take it to the common area? Because that would be...
Everyone, come to the conference room. Did we know who Girithkar was? That a different name for somebody we know now in the Pantheon?
You do know the name Girithkar. The demon women of Harpcry, the tiefling elders, had described the three elder siblings, the oldest being Ikabar, the middle sibling being Girithkar, and the youngest being Malar.
I'm trying to remember which one was specifically destroyed by the other brother.
What are the shards of Malar, right? That was, got destroyed and scattered into different shards, right?
Yeah, it was Malar, wasn't it?
So that was Malar that was destroyed.
So Malar was cast down, and those shards became, from what I understand, the gods. But Girithkar's champions. I'm kind of getting confused if that's referring to something Girithkar did on Dustfall.
You remember another thing that one of the villagers had told you, had mentioned in passing. One of the legends goes, Malar was broken, but not shattered. Not like broken up, at least, completely. And Malar and Girithkar got into an altercation. This is one of the legends, right? But since you're on this line of Dustfall, and you're thinking about this, you remember that one of the myths was that Girithkar, the middle sibling, had been crushed into dust. And that line that you keep seeing pops up, which is, the dust embodied.
I mean, was Dustfall's name super, super, super literal? Was this city built on the ashes of Girthkar?
And you know that the city of Dustfall is the Jinn capital.
Oh.
Do you think the Jinn themselves are the Dust Embodied? They are Girthkar surviving in the world?
That makes sense.
And so when they were snuffed out by Ichabod, he was afraid of them, maybe? Afraid that if they continued on this world, he would eventually get even?
The Jinn disappearing and the Jinn being sealed away, I believe that was a separate event from what happened with the Shattering and with Dustfall and with Girthkar. I still don't think that if I know what started sealing the Jinn away.
Rorin just has a headache.
Oh, right, because of the whole anvil thing.
Well, I know the reason Ichabod is coming and why he was seen through my eyes was he's hungry for something he's never had before. And I think through me, he discovered the Jinn in our world, even though they were sealed away. But the reason they were sealed away was because of my father, Garrisel. He warned the other gods that Ichabod was coming, and they wouldn't listen, so he sealed the Jinn away himself.
So you're saying Garrisel sealed the Jinn away as an attempt to protect this plane from Ichabod?
In a way, he's prolonging what Ichabod started, which Ichabod wanted to consume his brothers. And if the Jinn are the dust, the pieces left over of his former brother, he's coming to finish what he wanted to do. Which still brings me back to why us trying to liberate the Jinn, what exactly is that doing? Are we helping,
or is that what the Strike are trying to do?
The goal of the Shrike's Temple, as far as you guys can tell, is trying to goad Ichabod to come, so the Shrike, specifically Korg, can have a ultimate conflict with the greatest foe.
So it sounds like releasing the Jinn would invite Ichabod, but hopefully the Jinn would be able to help fight him. But if we don't release the Jinn, Ichabod might not come, but at the same time we're keeping a god imprisoned for all eternity that we know about now. So
in Edgemire, we received assistance from, I think that's where the college was. That man was an agent of my father. He'd served him for many, many, many years. He was working under my father's direction. He was trying to help us to unseal and locate more Jinn. So why would he seal them all those years ago and now be trying to push us along to undo this?
As Medusa's just overhearing all this, just play the Song of the Jinn? Would she have heard that song being played around in Elsira?
The Sound of the Jinn is a keyboard?
That's the song.
Galley, or Mr. Ship, whatever you're named. Play the Song of the Jinn.
Wait, are you talking about the one that you guys heard in the realm of song, or
the one that goes "Trust in the Jinn"?
Yeah, Galley starts badly singing this song. I'm trying to imagine how I'm gonna sing this out loud now.
I think Korak will excuse himself to go commune with Garrisel away from the party.
I sat there thinking what to write. Something came over my part and sign. I felt something from above. It wasn't gold and it wasn't love. The Jinn are dying out. It wasn't what you've read about. Something fell from the sky. They say it wasn't gods. It wasn't gods that made us die. I sit here or fly here now, trembling still. I see death like fields they till, something far beyond the mist. I can never rest like this. Take my warning, take it still. Watchman who Something about Watchmen, I think.
Anyone stands half a chance.
It's those with hearts, with both big and stout. I can't sing properly, Korak. Sorry. Hey, Medusa, grab me a beer. And remember well to fear the sky. Yeah. Something's coming. We don't know why. Tell your friends. Tell all your kin. Don't trust the gods. Trust in the djinn.
Dude, thanks for having that commission.
Yeah, I remember those songs were so awesome.
He's done like 3 songs for us.
Gally, that was terrible.
Yeah, it's the best I can do.
God was wiping a tear away from his eye. It's terrible, Gally. It's terrible. We do have all the parts for that Jinn liberating device, right? The arcane core and the... Do we still have those in our possession, or did we ever do anything with those?
Oh yeah, you still got them in your possession for sure.
But we never gave them back to the guy who was building the machine, right?
That's correct. You never did take it back.
So it sounds to me like if we do liberate the Jinn using these devices, it might be sending an invitation to Ichabod himself. So we might want to really prepare before we do, be ready for a fight in case he comes for that final battle.
What did we figure the consequences would be if we bring together the shards of Mylar?
It's a good question. I don't know.
What happens if we liberate the Jinn, but also what happens if we attempt to unite the shards of Mylar? Because I'm wondering if that's what we need as a fighting chance against Ichabod or Girithkar or whoever wants to eat this world. Or does Mylar want to eat this world? Maybe we don't want to do that.
Who knows? We have quite a collection of Jinn items now, right? We each have like 1 or 2. You
think we should attempt to free them?
I don't know. Maybe we find the other shards of Mylar first. Korak, what do you think? Hey, where'd Korak go?
Yeah, okay. So I think Gally takes you back. It's a pretty uneventful journey. You're able to sleep. Everybody's back to full health, full spell slots, etc., etc. You arrive on the outskirts of town. He lands. People are looking because it's an airship who's singing.
Medusa is so proud of herself right now.
He lands. Raxus bids you all have a good time, be safe, good hunting, etc. Actually, I think good hunting is the one he sticks with. And then he leaves you a card that's got this symbol on it. And he says, if you have need of us, just reach out. We will know. We have people listening. And please, if you're ever in Cloudhenge, stop by the Mantle Guildhall. We would love to show you the hospitality that you've shown me. And then he lets you know that he's going to be stationed here. This is where he will be, so if you need him specifically, you can find him in town here. He steps off galley. Guster has not come out of his room that you guys have provided for him. As you guys step off the boat, you're greeted by the Primarch's people, the same people who had met you in the Willowbow Inn, and they quickly grab you. They throw a big, gigantic, and sparkling cloak over Jeff, and they're like, please, Jeff can't be seen. And they kind of rush you guys off. They're like, you guys can't be seen here with him. Grieve has people all over the place. You don't want to be... He's pretty mad right now. Apparently, someone just, killed a bunch of his agents out in the forest yesterday.
Oh, that's weird.
Terrible.
Who would do such a thing?
And they rush you off to kind of a secluded area in town. Doesn't look like it's super well guarded. Roll perception for me.
Not terrible.
Damn, I'm on fire tonight.
Wow. I think everybody but Gob. You guys see that there's like enough people wandering around this area. You're pretty certain that you recognize some of these people that you had seen in the Primarch's camp when you had visited him outside of Harpcry. And so it's pretty easy to tell, at least for most of you guys except for Gob, that there's definitely like people patrolling and keeping an eye out here, but they're doing a really good job of remaining nonchalant. You just happen to be looking for it. So you come into a building, you go through like a couple different doors into a really inner part, and then you you actually go down into a basement area. There is this man who is dressed up, and you know that he looks like that guy who had introduced himself to you as Tilden some time ago. And then as soon as the other escort people leave, you see oh, by the way, Landis is in this room as well.
Hey, Landis.
Hey, guys.
You guys, as soon as the guards kind of walk out of the room, this guy Tilden drops the facade, and obviously it's Doc. So you have Doc and Landis. You guys are in the room with him and Jeffrey.
Oh, holy shit.
I love that there's 3 characters in this room. They're all Chris.
And you don't have to RP all of them if you don't.
Oh, yes,
want.
you
I
do.
can take the
Murphy
Primarch.
No, just say they share a hive mind.
They all speak in unison.
Yeah, if you can take Doc, because you'll have a better memory and more information on him anyways.
Yeah, good point. Well, what's up, my dudes? This is awfully like Galley.
Well, don't bastardize it.
Well, what's up, my dudes? How you guys doing?
What's up, dog?
Yeah, is that like a joke about a rabbit eating a carrot, maybe?
Do you have any carrots?
Yeah, hell yeah, I got carrots.
Sweet, I'm starving.
Oh, I didn't say that they were for you. I just got carrots.
Rorin would like to ask Jeff if he gained any information from the Shrike Paladin. Just if he talked with him, gained any insights.
So, no, he would have been knocked out the entire time that those guys were. So he would remember exactly what you guys remember, because I came to. So those guys found me in the forest.
So you were knocked out, then you woke up and just started blasting people. I'm glad you didn't blast us.
Well, thanks for bringing Jeff back. I actually was planning on giving him to you guys to take along, since I'm kind of gonna hog my dad from here on out, if you're cool with that. Jeff's been out in the field a lot, and so I'm pretty confident in his abilities to support you guys in the way that you need. But listen, I feel like I'm a man of my word, so here's a reward for bringing Jeff to me, or getting him out alive anyway. I don't know what happened to the other guys he was supposed to be with anyway, or at least I had heard that he was with. But I'll find them and make sure that they get rewarded for pulling him out, I guess. And he gives you guys 5,000 each.
5,000?
Damn.
Do you guys need anything else? Can I get you anything?
Do you have any more gold?
I mean, I have more, but I was hoping to spend it somewhere where it can be of better use. I feel like this is what you guys... This will be useful to you. Hey, listen, Medusa, word travels fast, and I heard about the full release massages, okay? Like, that's not cool.
Whatever.
Whatever.
So have you had any run-ins with the Shrike Temple lately?
He looks at you, and then he looks at Jeff, and he's like, just kind of shrugs. Because it's kind of whatever Jeff was doing. He was my man on the inside.
He was your only one on the inside?
The only one. And he winks.
Have you gained any information on what they're planning to do next?
Well, they've really riled up the population in Theranos, and there was this really big push. They had the whole war. They're the guys who incited the war. You know, the civil war there on Elsira. I found that out. They're behind all that. They're the reason that there was the plague in Master's Point. They had some agent in there. I don't know. Did you guys ever know? Do you guys remember that dude that like was yelling at us when we were in Cloudhenge? He's calling himself Kitsch or something.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, he's been like a head agent for a long time, and it was his whole idea. He had some other people working on it. Some guy who's since gone missing, named Soren Abari, and nobody's heard from him in a while. And then there's a couple other agents who I'm trying to track down right now, and it's kind of working out, but we'll see.
Have we gotten any more information on what we're gonna move forward on the Bay of Strike?
Well, I think we've got enough traders and ship owners bought off, or we own their ships outright, that we can effectively create a blockade to stop any trade coming in or out. We stop the temple from sending people out of the port here in High Oron anyway. I can't stop them from going out of Tyakos yet. I'm kind of working on that.
So we aren't going to mine any of their precious metals over there?
I haven't decided on that one yet. I'd like to, but I don't know if it's worth spending the resources to get people out there. But
well, I'm gonna discuss that with some people and look into it a little bit more.
Will the trade blockade be legal?
I will make it legal. But basically, last I heard, I was telling you guys about Theranos. They got the mercenary academy out there. They're trying to do a big push to take Edgemire back because I guess Raylene Kawahara's got her army up in Edgemire right now. They killed Gauntlet.
What?
The Jarl of Ebenhearth, who surprised he was also a Shrike cultist sort of a thing. He's got a whole weird thing though. I've been kind of looking into that. I think there's more than one of them. More than one guy like Gauntlet. They're kind of a weird brand of Warforged.
I think we may have met one. Do you know any other? Is Grieve one of those?
Oh, Grieve. Yeah, he's definitely one of them too. Yeah, Grieve and Gauntlet are definitely related in some way. I haven't figured out exactly how or what that means, but do you guys know anything about weird Warforged or anything like that?
No.
Do they have a brother named Glove as well, or?
No, that was Gauntlet.
Would that be a history check for Medusa?
There's a history check, and then while you're doing that, there's a oh my God, Danny, these rolls are amazing. Last game it was trying to. Holy crap, you guys!
This is the best night.
There was one when we were down in Harpcry. We were getting harassed by this. There was a Warforged who was calling himself Sabaton, and he was kind of a real pain in my butt because he kept trying to scare people off, and I wasn't really having it. I haven't seen him since we came back up here though.
What do you mean by scaring people off?
He's just really just being a dick. Really, I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
There's a whole subset of Warforged who serve the Temple of the Shrike, and they're all named after clothing parts.
All of you guys with your history checks. Do you remember the story from the Underdark about the man named Ryle Redstone, who kicked on the Forge once again and created his own subset of Warforged about 300 years ago? So Sabaton was a big pain in my butt, and I kind of mean that literally because that's what, like, I say scaring people off. What he was doing was actually, like, he and his people would come in and straight up torture people, and it was so not cool.
Oh, wow.
They hauled people away, and they'd torture them for a week, and then they'd leave them away and leave them somewhere, and then we'd find them, and they'd, of course, have been through incredible amounts of pain. And I think he used to have a bigger operation back when the Changelance was a real big thing. That was huge, but I know that when we came back out, there was that small city of Courtlower, and they had a real bad time with him. I've got people trying to track him, but he's pretty slippery.
Do you know the status of anything happened in River Shroud?
Yeah, River Shroud, I haven't heard a lot from there, but I think the cultists don't really talk about it a lot because they seem pretty confident that it's still in the fold of the Shrike or something. I guess one of their head leaders, I think his name was like Arden or something, they recalled him, and he put on the armor and went crusading for the Shrike, and I think he was actually chasing Jeff here. Did you guys happen to see him?
The pancake dude?
Is that who we smashed?
Oh, can that be his name now?
That was definitely a character.
What a clean take of that line right there. The pancake.
Was this a character that was in Rorin's backstory? Like did you draft him up?
I'm crying. Okay.
There's this awesome backstory character that we've reduced to Pancake Guy.
You know what? Rorin is happy to have his legacy be known as Pancake Guy. Yes. The man that we smashed into a pancake was one of the cultists who infiltrated into River Shroud and poisoned my brother against me. He's been interacting with Warforged there as well. You don't know of any Warforged there in River Shroud?
Yeah, there was I heard something about a Warforged that had like real. Yeah, he had bright blue eyes, right?
Do you know how many of these Warforged out there that were made by this guy?
Yeah, I thought Warforged were basically almost an extinct breed.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily call them extinct. They just don't. There's no production for them anymore. Ever since the wars all stopped, there was the forge was first created like, I don't know, 1500 years ago or something. So there was the one that was the forges were originally created like 1500 years ago, and then shortly after, not shortly, then it was shut down and it was cold for a while, and somebody turned them on like 300 years ago. And then there was that war against the Corianid War. There's the Corianid War. I'm trying to remember. Like, I have so much freaking lore right now. It's throwing me off.
You think it's bad for you? Try being one of us.
Yeah.
I wonder if that has to do with that kind of bastard child of that mind flayer, Redstone or something like that.
Yeah, didn't we all heard a tale about Royal Redstone starting the forge back up? Did you guys remember that story when we were in the Underdark?
Yeah. Do we have any idea how many of those Warforged he forged?
How many Warforged can a Redstone forge? If a Redstone forge could forge.
Warforged.
There was a whole bunch churned out. I don't think they were specifically for the Shrike army. They came out for something, because there is a bunch of newer ones, and a lot of them ended up being used inside of the Corianid War.
Where is the forge?
Lost to time.
Any word on the Warforged Vario?
Yeah, I think Vario's still floating around Elsir somewhere.
He's not a Shrike cultist, is he? A Shrike Warforged?
Do you have reason to believe that he is? I haven't seen him interact with anybody. In fact, it seemed like he was pretty hell-bent on killing Gauntlet.
It just seems like every other Warforged has been, so I just wanted to
Racist.
make sure he's not, too.
This is a whole nother slew of problems.
Yeah, I think the Quellis are kind of on that right now.
Maybe we should try to pull in our resources.
And fight the Quellists?
Yes.
Yeah, let's fight the Quellist.
I mean, yeah, you'd all die. I mean, you already lost one of your number, so I don't know.
Rorin, you said that your brother was up in River Shroud and he turned against you. Is that Rinian? Is that his name?
That's him. Do you have news of him?
I'm getting conflicting reports. It's really hard to get in there. There's been some weird magic around the borders of that place for a little while, but it kind of let up recently. I was able to get some people in and take a look around. They weren't able to stay long without piquing too much suspicion. But it looks like he's one of the head priests now in town, and they're definitely spewing Shrike cult rhetoric. So that's not cool, but it is what it is, I guess.
Rorin would be visibly downcast and probably just zone out for a couple minutes here.
I think he notices that, and then he's like, well, but like I said, there's conflicting reports, because then there's some people that say that he's kind of working on getting an underground going, and I don't know how credible that is. It might just be the rumor mill turning, but
I think we should probably go and investigate River Shroud ourselves. But before we do, have you heard anything about the Changelands or Harpcry?
Oh yeah, the Changelands like receded crazy, bro. If you remember, we had dinner that night, and then like a week later, you guys went and saw the Emperor, and then like you didn't come back for a while. And then I heard that you guys were like all the way out in the east somewhere, and that you had killed a lich. And it was right around then that the Changelands really started stripping back. It was kind of impressive.
Whoops.
So I don't know if you guys did something, but yeah, the Changelands stopped growing.
Well, we took care of Zanatha. There was that giant tidal wave.
Yeah, the tide. You saw that?
Did our party seriously affect the entire geography of this planet?
That tidal wave that you're talking about, I've gotten a lot of reports back that say it destroyed the town of Talandri and washed out most of Toxendar.
Say, Rorin, what was that second line in that page you were reading that was super ominous?
Remember the past.
Granted, there's a lot of vagueness in things like premonitions and warnings, but some of that's very specific with our friend Axel, what Gob and you, Rorin, have been going through, and that we literally changed the lands to consume things.
Yeah, the music stopped when the head bard died before Axel became him.
Does the phrase "the 12th age" ring any bells to us? Like, is that a terminology that goes on in this world that we don't know about?
And I'm gonna tell you guys, like right now, like in the meta, no, it really doesn't. This hasn't been a thing that I've been doing. I just had to have that to be ominous.
Campaign canceled.
Literally unplayable.
If all these things, like, happened, or are happening, probably the last thing we want is for Girithkar to purge the Jinn from the world.
I think our answer to that will probably lie in returning to Edgemire.
And we can only hope we'll find 9 shards on the way.
Something tells me we probably have what we need.
Why are you thinking we should go to Edgemire?
I've traveled with some of you for a very long time, and I think one big part of our journey, one big chapter is about to come to an end. And I think it involves returning to Edgemire. Call it a hunch, call it a fool's notion, but I think something that I set out to do with my friend Webby a very long time ago is finally coming ahead. I don't think I can continue to be helpful without cracking these artifacts open and deciphering what we've been tasked and what we're... It feels like we get pulled to different sides of this world to take care of other things, and it comes back to us having to deal with these Jinn artifacts and what really is inside these things. We still have other pressing needs, but I definitely vote that we need to return to Edgemire.
So out of character, yeah, this is kind of what I was thinking we needed to do too. Let's go return the car to the place, get that guy to do what he needs to do with the Jinn.
I think Korak would also be interested in ask Rorin do you think we need to return the River Shroud? Do we need to do anything for your old town while we're here, still on this continent? We are the Liberators after all.
Rorin is torn.
I've never been to River Shroud, but I've heard it's a beautiful place.
It was, and hopefully still is.
If it's not, maybe we could make it one again.
Oh, why are you tempting me?
Or we can make it terrible.
We've already destroyed a quarter of the planet.
We freed the Changelands. That's a positive.
True.
What happened in the east may be a negative, but I would hate to be this close to River Shroud and to leave again and leave some unfinished business with you or anything.
Since we can safely say we're on the same continent, we might as well head home if you're all willing to. If you're all willing to help me take care of River Shroud, and now that, according to this Stormfather vision, I'm allowed back into the city, I would be honored to have you join me coming back home.
Yeah, it sounds to me like when we do turn on the device, there might not be any turning back. So this might be your last chance.
Do you have any good drinks?
Oh, there's this bar. Let me tell you. Actually, there's a couple bars.
Say no more, and Medusa heads for a galley.
Okay, see you, snakehead lady.
So Medusa truly is the character that just boots and rallies the entire time we're not fighting.
Just to warn you guys, it's been over 3 decades since I've been home, and if the rumors are true, then the enemy against us there is going to have a stronghold with all the townsfolk. The only person that may be able to help us free River Shroud from the oppression of the Shrike cultists would be my sister, but I don't even know if she's alive. But we can try our best.
So your sister live in River Shroud too?
Yeah, I left her there. She's not a fan of the Shrike cultists. In fact, she helped me in attempting to maneuver a political coup against our brother. But somehow, and I would blame her due to her cowardice, but also the fact that she remained maybe something helpful to me.
Well, a lot can change in 35 years.
True. But yeah, I hope we have a chance against Shrike cultists and Warforge and whatever else I left there. I left it a mess. I can only assume it's gotten worse, especially being so close to the Temple of the Shrike. But I think a good plan would be trying to make contact with my sister.
Do you think we should go in disguise as Shrike cultists ourselves, or if we walk in as ourselves, they'll be at arms right away?
I think a disguise of sorts would be best. I think we should sneak in.
Try to find your sister first,
Yeah.
maybe?
Infiltrate River Shroud?
I think we're voting to infiltrate River Shroud, because this might be my last chance to go home.
So is that what you guys want to do next?
I am all for liberating the city.
Doc bids you guys a good trip. See you next fall. And then he trips Korak, or attempts to trip Korak on the way out. You head back to Galley. Get on. Guster is there. He's got a plate of macaroons that he's made for you. These tiny little cookie cakes are very delicious. Please eat.
I eat some, and I give him the sack of gold. It was a debt that I owe him for that robes that I got starved.
This is unexpected. Grand
Is that
payday.
enough?
This is most good. Thank you, wizard, wearing the robe of stars.
No, thank you. I love it.
Do you have any weapons?
Yes, I have weapons. Let me generate them. What kind of weapons do you like? I will reach into my refrigerator of holding.
The one that kills a lot of people.
Any weapons that deceive or enchant?
Well, wait. You ask for a weapon, healer. You are carrying a very powerful sword.
I just am a collector, that is all.
Yes. Do you know what this sword is?
It kills people.
Yes.
I don't know what this particular sword is, other than it's very magical.
He's got this one. It's got a hilt with wings on it. And he's like,
This sword will attack people for you. That is pretty cool. It is called, I call it the dancing sword. I will sell this to you for 2,000 gold. Thank you for your gold. You, healer, this sword you have, it is divine. Do you know this?
I felt it. You have a really cool origin story on this sword?
Yes, this is the sword of Agroshad. I have seen this before. The last time I have seen this sword, it was in the hands of a man named Bellator. He was a general in the Corionid Wars. My great-grandfather fought alongside him. Bellator was a just and righteous man. He brought an end to the war finally and brought those responsible for prolonging a false war to justice. And they had him assassinated. That sword has many history behind it.
Yeah, just so everyone's aware, that sword is definitely a avatar of the god Agrashad, and it is a +5 sword. +5 to attack, +5 radiant damage. You guys start heading towards River Shroud. Galley's flying high and above. I don't know, it's like early morning-ish, right, when you guys arrived, and then you talk to the Primarch, or to Doc, I guess, for some time. And then you begin flying towards River Shroud right around like late morning. Galley, he's moving at a pretty leisurely pace. I don't think he's in any kind of a hurry, so it starts to become a little bit closer to evening by the time that Rorin, you start to recognize some of the landscape, or like recognize more. Like you recognize all of this, right? This is your homeland.
Right.
Galley flies far above the ground. The air continues to breeze through your hair. You guys are looking out the starboard side of the deck as you come up on River Shroud. You see the mountains far behind. You see the rapids inside of the river itself. You see grass blowing on the plains. You see tree leaves rustling. And then you turn around and you see the ocean on the port side of Galley. The sun is only now beginning to set. There's a really beautiful golden light haloing the entire western horizon. And there's something that feels right about this, that you should be coming here as the sun goes down. Then Galley lands, and you step off the gangplank onto the grass plains. And Rorin, you approach the spot where you once knew there to be a line that you thought would kill you if you crossed it. You look at this spot, this invisible line, and all your anxieties about returning home vanish. What do you do?
Rorin bravely, foolhardily takes a step over the line.
Oh my god.
You take a step over the line, and nothing happens. And you take another step, and another, and another.
And then I start
And
skipping and dancing.
Yes, you skip, and you dance, and you break into a run, pushing faster and faster, clearing the trees and entering the wonderfully familiar streets of River Shroud. People are out for their evening chores, and they stop and they stare at you as you sprint across the grounds. Where, Rorin, are you going?
To the fucking bar.
Medusa like full sprints after you.
Gob's running too. This is great.
Thorak like has his arms crossed and he's grinning, but with his eyes closed, like this is a motherfucking anime. Oh my god.
Rorin, you enter your favorite bar, and there's a couple familiar faces in here, definitely older than you remember. There's one face you recognize immediately, and that is your cousin, Karazed.
Karazed!
He looks up at you and he says, Rorin? Oh my... What? Wow! When did you... How are you... This is a... And he gets up and he sweeps you into a gigantic bear hug.
Yay!
And he holds you close for a minute, and then and he doesn't back off from the hug, but he whispers into your ear. He says, "Welcome home, cousin."
It's more than good to be back.
And that's where we'll end for tonight.
Dude.
I have to ask, Michael, did you time that with me? Because I was trying to time that.
I was trying real hard.
That was unbelievable.
That was finally proof we don't need Gob to shed a little tear. I definitely was. That was borderline tear jerking. That was really, really good. That was really fun.